Prince Meghan dumps sad Harry whilst the Duchess clings on to the marriage for Harry's royal...
It's 4 o'clock in the morning right now. There are about 68.3 million people in Britain, but less than 5% of them are actually awake right now. We know this because the Office for National Statistics publishes a time use survey where they ask a representative sample of the population how they spend their time throughout a given day. About 20% of the population are children, and they're not included in the survey. But for the adult population, the survey gives us a look at how Britain actually spends its time on an average weekday. For about 4 million people, the day has just begun. It's just gone 6 o'clock, and that means that 4 million alarms just went off across the country. And in half an hour, another 4 million will go off. And then at 7 o'clock, 8 million alarms will go off. And by 7:30, a majority of the country will be awake. At 8 a.m., almost a quarter of Britain's population is getting ready for the day. So if you brush your teeth around this time, there's going to be thousands of people brushing their teeth at the exact same time as you. But some people have already left home by this point. In fact, around 10% of the country is traveling right now. This is the height of the morning rush hour. But this also varies throughout the week, because a lot of people have hybrid working arrangements, so they might work from home on certain days, or every day. By 10 a.m., 40% of the country is working. Not everyone's in an office, of course. But what's everyone else doing? About 20% of the country is doing housework, things like cleaning, DIY, and laundry. And a lucky 10% or so are engaged in entertainment and leisure. Between 12 and 2, the great lunch break happens. So if you have lunch at about 1 p.m., there's about 10 million people having lunch with you. But by 2 p.m., 40% are working again. This number slowly declines throughout the afternoon. At 5 p.m., 10% of the country is traveling again, but in the opposite direction. And by 6 p.m., less than 10% of the country is working. About 20% of the country is having dinner. Lots of people are also taking care of children at this time, although I think the data might be a bit muddled, because people might be taking care of children while having dinner, for example.
Prince Harry has now gone full turd as a surprising royal ally is claiming that he is the most bullied person in the world. Where have we heard that before?
Let's call this a modern fairy tale.
Oh, what could possibly go wrong?
They have proven themselves to be liars.
Why are they talking about race?
How you don't have your daddy at your wedding?
I want to be near them. I want to be a part of their life.
What you're doing to your father's not right.
She wanted her privacy invaded.
There were women who worked for her who were absolutely broken by her.
Just by existing, we were upsetting the dynamic of the hierarchy.
He has become a traitor.
Who are their friends now?
The fairy tale has fractured.
They would change the world.
Meghan Markle has declared herself one of the most bullied people in the world.
Is this you? Sorority girl, actress, influencer, victim.
Yeah, that's totally me.
Meghan has allegedly bullied staff on 2 continents, and she's trying to deflect that by claiming she is the ultimate bullying victim. No, Meghan Markle, you are not. And I hate to say it, but you are not. I'm sure there is somebody out there who is vastly more bullied than you are.
You're out at a summit for teen girls, and this is the message? You victimizing yourself as one of the biggest bullying people in the world. Ah.
Now, this is what Girls Inc. said about the activity. It was with regards to tweens, okay? So there were tweens there. We did an activity where we talked through a bunch of scenarios, and Meghan talked about being one of the most bullied people in the world.
Her team tried to deny this line on the same day that it came out. And to me, that's just absolutely insane, because in 2020, she told a teenage podcast that she was the most trolled person in the world, male or female. If she's capable of saying it once, she's capable of saying it twice.
Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, Mass, told the hosts of the Teenager Therapy podcast they know how it feels to be bullied.
Recorded at a beach home in Montecito, California, highlighted mental health for World Mental Health Day.
You know, I can speak personally to, I'm told that in 2019, I was the most trolled person in the entire world, male or female.
Wrong. That was Adele. It was Adele, and then it was Gemma Collins, and then it was Meghan Markle, and then it was Piers Morgan. In fact, she wasn't the most Googled celebrity in 2019. That went to Caitlyn Jenner. It was Caitlyn Jenner, James Charles, then Prince Andrew. Ooh, that's kind of hurt, isn't it?
Now, 8 months of that, I wasn't even visible. I was on maternity leave or with a baby. But what was able to just be manufactured and churned out, it's almost unsurvivable. That's so big, you can't even think of what that feels like, because I don't care if you're 15 or you're 25, if people are saying things about you that aren't true, what that does to your mental and emotional health is so damaging.
You are being criticized. You are not being bullied.
There's being bullied, and then there's behaving in such a manner and saying things that attract criticism.
Yeah, I think that she's trying to create a diversion with the "oh, woe is me" narrative.
We interviewed Harry and Meghan for our Teenager Therapy podcast. We were just in a lot of shock and surprise because they reached out to us.
And it seems she's up to her old tricks yet again, but this time using even younger children. Even children are not exempt from her self-victimization and harping on about what she went through.
My wife in 2018 was the most trolled person in the world.
Now, I would like to remind you guys, I believe it was 2019 Meghan said this.
I'm told that in 2019,
and you can't even get your ears straight because Harry was just saying it was 2018. She's playing the victim again. She's dusting off these old narratives that we've heard time and time again. I think she'll do anything for attention.
Meghan Markle has said that she is the most bullied person on the planet. Chloe, is she?
I mean, tell that to kids who say, you know, get beat up over and over again, potentially, you know, beat up by their parents.
I do think there's something really off about going and talking to young girls, going and talking to young people and saying, pity me.
She uses the anti-bullying digital platform to try to divert attention off the fact that she is potentially the bully. So she goes on TV talking about how they're fighting bullying online. And the reality is, I think she's just trying to distract from the fact that she is known as a heinous bully.
Megan, we're so excited to have you here today.
Thank you.
And I first want to just say congratulations to you on everything that you've done and everything that you're doing.
Congratulations, Megan, on marrying a prince and doing the biggest cash and carry con job on the British royal family, and that's the reason why you're sitting there on stage.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You found the most eligible bachelor on earth.
She's like, I think I met someone and it's Prince Harry. And we have a photo from that moment.
I want to talk about you as a founder, as a CEO, as an innovator, as a creator, as an investor.
She gets this from Meghan Markle's bio. They ask you for your bio, and clearly she gave her the bio.
What else? She says, if I had to write a resume, I don't know what I would call myself.
Sorry.
Okay.
And what does your team look like these days? Yes, well, I have a small and mighty team for my office. And then I think obviously our foundation is independent of that, but those are the same executive directors we've had for a very long time who run it beautifully. Separate team for With Love Meghan, that's a crew of about 80 people. And on this show, it's a crew of 80 people.
Did you hear what she said? That is 80 people in the kitchen for that show With Love Meghan.
Would you have 80 people in your house? It's a lot of people. It's a crew of 80 people. It's a lot of people.
Well, still a lot, though.
The 80 people are people back at the office, the online producers, the guest getters, the car people. Yes, there's a big crew, but they're not all with you in that kitchen.
There's a lot of different teams, and at the same time, my core team that sits around me for all of the projects is, you know, very, very strong, savvy women.
Mm-hmm. So Meghan is here with two people that work for her, but lists them on this mockumentary as friends. She at least credited Daniel Martin as the makeup artist, but failed to acknowledge Mandana Dayani as Archwell CEO or president.
I think always credit where credit's due.
Even though at the time she was president of Archwell.
You have an incredible team. You take care of your team. That is all reflected in your success.
That she was Devil Wears Prada kind of boss. There was one quote saying that she was a demon in high heels. Yeah. A Duchess difficult. Duchess difficult.
Everyone's terrified of Meghan, this says. They are both poor decision makers, they say. They change their minds frequently. Harry, they say, on the other hand, is a very, very charming person, no airs at all, but he's very much an enabler, and she's just terrible.
She belittles people, she doesn't take advice, and she's relentless in her demands.
She has like press secretaries and deputy press secretaries and communications directors. Why do you have so much staff?
Because it takes a village, it really does.
In Meghan's case, the village is nomadic.
So long, farewell, I'll be there saying goodnight.
Up to last week, more people quit on Meghan.
Another source stated, I've watched her reduce grown men to tears. She marches around like a dictator, barking orders and fuming when things don't go her way. Well, that's the Meghan that we know, isn't it?
And just when we thought things may have settled a bit, there's news this week that the Sussexes are parting way with another 6 staff.
With one source claiming they got through employees as quick as normal people get through toilet paper.
As long as you find the people, right? It's like you just got to find great people and get out of their way. And
nothing says that you're impossible to work for than constantly cycling through various members of staff.
The couple have cut ties with their communications team. Well, how are they getting anything out then? There we go.
Now it's being reported that the total tally of staff the couple has lost or let go since they quit as working royals back in 2020 is up to 25 people, with some departures not even yet publicized. How do you even run through 25 people?
Harry and Meghan have now lost Kyle Boulia, their Los Angeles-based deputy press secretary, Charlie Gibson, who had been serving as the couple's European communications director, Disha Tank, Archwell's director of communications, and Leanne Cashin, formerly head of operations at Archwell.
Not to mention the personal assistant and Meghan's social media manager. On 2.
Even these numbers don't match up. Even these.
6 months ago, I started uploading on this YouTube channel. As you can see here, my first video was uploaded around the start of October, and then less than a month later, one of my videos started taking off and I got monetized soon after. Since then, I've uploaded a few videos on that channel that have all done pretty well. A few of them even got over 100,000 views. Now, I know these numbers are not insane by any means, but for me, this was massive. Because for 5 years, I've tried to upload many different types of videos on a bunch of different channels, and all of them have failed at even meeting the monetization requirements. And I finally understand why that is. You see, for a very long time, I believed one simple concept. As long as you have a high quality video, you have a pretty good chance of getting viewers and getting monetized. And while this concept is true to some extent, for a very long time I misunderstood what the word quality meant. Here's an example of a video I made about a year ago. This was the video I thought would finally get me monetized, but it only got 200 views. This felt pretty devastating because this video actually took me hundreds of hours to create, and I'm not exaggerating here. It took me 3 months total from planning it to finally uploading it, and no one cared. The video never even got noticed. Meanwhile, on my latest monetized channel, this video that got me about 150,000 views took me about 7 hours to create. What I learned was that just because you spend more time on a video does not mean the quality becomes better. Yes, maybe your editing looks nicer. Of the niches without adding originality is always a bad idea. This is also why I can't give you an exact niche you should get into if you
in itself, you would never, both of you, have thought that could ever happen, would you, kids?
For rich, influential friends that I had my way with, on the yacht before I met my dumbass husband.
Let's call this a modern fairy tale.
Oh, what could possibly go wrong?
They have proven themselves to be liars.
Why are they talking about race?
How you don't have your daddy at your wedding?
I want to be near them. I want to be a part of their life.
What you're doing to your father's not right.
She wanted her privacy invaded.
There were women who worked for her who were absolutely broken by her.
Just by existing, we were upsetting the dynamic of the hierarchy.
He has become a traitor.
Who are their friends now?
The fairy tale has fractured.
They would change the world.
Your Royal Highness, Meghan Markle, congratulations to you both.
Thank you.
Can we start with the proposal and the actual moment of your engagement? When did it happen? How did it happen?
Are you looking at me? You tell it.
It happened a few weeks ago, earlier this month, here at our cottage.
Well, according to Netflix, which is their show, it was actually a candlelit extravaganza in their walled garden.
I set electric candles around the blanket. I wanted it to look like Botswana, the bush where I first thought of proposing.
However, there's a contradiction in the Finding Freedom book. Here it says that Harry proposed in Botswana.
Just a standard, typical night for us.
Cozy night. What were we doing? Just roasting chicken and
Trying to roast chicken.
trying to roast a chicken.
Just after they revealed they were roasting a chicken when Harry popped the question, Corey posted this video of chickens roasting with the caption, "Never gets old."
And this is how long after you first met?
It would be a year and a half, a little bit more than that.
No, just about a year and a half, yeah.
Corey isn't talking, but some are wondering if he took a little dig at Meghan following her engagement announcement.
Now there's really pressure in my life to ask and make Meghan my wife. I know I'll go propose over a chicken roast.
Just an amazing surprise.
And Meghan was so amazingly surprised, she managed to figure out what was happening and tell her friend about it before Harry even popped the question.
Oh my God, Jess, it's happening, it's happening, it's happening.
Why is she recording her phone call to Jess? Or is someone in the cupboard with her recording her talking to Jess?
Oh my God, Jess, it's happening, it's happening, it's happening. Oh my God, he told me not to peek.
It was either a surprise or it wasn't a surprise. And even if it wasn't a surprise, you don't bring your best friend going, he's about to do it. Oh my God, record this moment.
So no, it was a really nice moment. It was just the two of us, and I think I managed to catch her by surprise as well. So.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind, Guy has got 2 broken, casted front legs. Harry looks like he's dragging a poor dog up by his collar to be in the romantic photo. She's cut Harry's head off.
It was so sweet and natural and very romantic. He got on one knee.
What also doesn't make sense is Guy was reportedly to have broken both his legs after the couple were engaged.
I swear, that dog looks so miserable.
Speaking of dogs, have you brought yours to the UK?
Well, I have 2 dogs that I've had for quite a long time, both my rescue pups.
She'd said goodbye to her car, goodbye to one of her dogs, Bogart.
And one is now staying with very close friends.
Meg's neighbours had graciously agreed to adopt him.
And my other little guy is, yes, he's in the UK. He's been here for a while.
Okay, let's hope he adjusts well.
I think he's doing just fine.
It's not every day you get an email from Meghan Markle. And what's so shocking about this email is her attempting to steal a shelter dog from somebody who already adopted it.
We met, God, I don't know how many years ago. How long ago was that?
A long time ago, well before I was even on Suits, I think over a decade ago maybe, right?
but we met at a pet shop.
Yes.
And I was going there to rescue a dog, and it was right around Christmas time.
Megan got Bogart at a Los Angeles animal shelter, where she happened to run into, of all people, Ellen DeGeneres.
Obviously, I didn't know who you were. I just love people rescuing pets.
Megan credits the talk show host with convincing her to adopt.
And you just looked at me and said, "Are you getting that dog? Get that dog. You have to take that dog home." I was like, "Well, Ellen said I have to take the dog home. I'm getting this dog."
My name is Meghan Markle. I'm an actress on the USA Network series Suits, and in the past 2 days I have fallen in love with Bruno. We were told that another application had been put in for him, so now she's upset. I film in Toronto for 8 months out of a year, to which my husband visits every other week. Oh, sounds like a stable home for a dog, Megan, yeah. Bruno would be a beloved addition to my Suits family. Everybody had a dog. Now Megan's got to go find the perfect dog to go bring to Suits.
So as soon as you were holding the dog, I was like, take it.
Take it. And I said, okay.
Yeah. And you did.
I will.
And you
Yeah,
did.
I did. I
love that.
listened.
I love that.
I would happily tweet and use social media to support Spot. I would just be remiss if I didn't reach out and make a plea to you directly and use my celebrity clout. I was heartbroken about leaving Bruno today. I just thought I could walk in every day and that shelter dog would always be there until I finally made up my mind. She didn't get the dog, okay? She didn't get that dog. The dog went to this fella right here. Because the truth is, this dog that you did rescue was the brother to the dog you couldn't get.
Meet Guy and Bogart, Meghan Markle's two beloved rescue dogs. They're featured all over her social media and repeatedly referred to as my boys. Unfortunately, the future princess is leaving one of them behind as she starts her new royal life. So while Meghan's beagle enjoys life at the palace, Bogart, a Labrador Shepherd mix, will not be moving to London.
She said the dog was too old to travel. The dog was 6. So, no, I do not believe that Meghan is an animal lover any more than I believe Harry is an animal lover.
Kensington Palace tells Inside Edition it was a choice Ms. Markle made, and we will not speculate as to why she made the decision. But it is always difficult to transport animals across the Atlantic.
His demeanor changed when Meg was around. He'd become an aggressive guard dog.
If the dog didn't like Harry, you can't blame him, really. He was living with Corey for like 2 years with her. He probably saw Corey as his master, and all of a sudden there's this strange guy in the house. Of course the dogs are going to take time to adjust, but she didn't care. She didn't try. That was it. They're no longer needed. Discard.
If you had to be an animal for a day, what would that animal be?
My dog, Bogart. Best life ever.
And so she Markled her own dogs.
But we still had to sit down on the sofa, and I still had to have some pretty, frank conversations with her to say, look, what you're letting yourself in for is, it's a big deal. I was excited to welcome Meg to my home, but also embarrassed.
Well, I think the big shock came to her in a way when she moved into Kensington Palace, and Harry has got a 2/3 small cottage in that complex.
To my relief, she made no sign of dismay until she got inside. Then she said something about a frat house.
And literally on the other side of the corridor, Kate and William have a 22-room apartment with 2 kitchens.
I saw Meg's eyes widen as we entered their front door, walked past their front sitting room, down their hallway.
Hello, Katian Shat the Great. How are you? Sorry, I probably read your name wrong.
Into their study. Wow, Meg said several times. The wallpaper, the crown moulding, the walnut bookshelves lined with...
I'm good, I'm very tired. I'm just watching YouTube. I'm being very lazy.
Coordinated volumes, the priceless art. Gorgeous, like a museum.
I'm scared I'm gonna
But
fall
you
asleep.
see, one of her sources of dissatisfaction was that she didn't live in a palace.
Kensington Palace sounds very regal. Of course it does. It says palace in the name.
So many people consider we were living in a palace, and we were.
In a cottage
We were living
on palace grounds.
Doesn't your heart bleed for poor Harry and Meghan in poky old Nottingham cottage?
Primogeniture, the idea that the eldest son inherits titles and lands and so on, and the rest get nothing. is quite a long-running thing in human history. Yeah, of course.
As a lad born in the council house, I do feel, I do sympathise with the grinding poverty of Nottingham Cottage, you know.
The whole thing's on a slight lean.
Yeah, what a fucking hovel.
He would just hit his head constantly in that place because he's so tall.
Really low ceilings. I don't know who was there before. They must have been very short.
William and Catherine lived there along with Prince George before they moved into Kensington Palace. The fact that Harry and Meghan were making it sound like they were oppressed because the cottage that they lived in for a few months, only temporary, wasn't enough for them. But the future King and Queen of England lived there and never complained.
It got so bad that one day I had to phone Granny. I told her we needed a new place to live.
It was just a chapter in our lives where I don't think anyone could believe what it was actually like behind the scenes.
Well, Oprah came over for...
I would literally love to live in that cottage. It doesn't even look that small.
Tea, didn't she?
Wait, what was that?
Well, Oprah came over for tea, didn't she?
Oh, okay. Got it. She did.
And when she came in, she sat down, she goes, "No one would ever believe it."
No one would ever believe it.
Well, isn't that kind of rude of Oprah to come and make a comment about your humble abode that your grandmother gave to you for free?
Harry and Meghan were meant to be moving into Kensington Palace next door to Catherine and William. The quick turnaround from getting the previous tenants to vacate that particular apartment for Harry and Meghan, there was reportedly a fair amount of money spent on renovations for them to suddenly not move in there.
Apparently, Harry and Meghan asked to live in Windsor Castle, and if living quarters could be made available, and the Queen deemed the request inappropriate, firmly rejected it, and the Queen apparently said, "I hope they'll respect it."
Next, she wanted Frogmore House, and she was absolutely furious to be given Frogmore Cottage. Of course, when Grand Duchess Xenia of Russia got Frogmore Cottage, she was appreciative. But who was she? The sister, daughter, granddaughter, great-granddaughter, great-great-granddaughter, etc. of emperors. To her, Frogmore Cottage was good enough. To Meghan Markle, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
And it's an immense change. You're getting a new country out of it, a husband, obviously, but also giving up your career.
This is nice. Yes. But I don't see it as giving anything up.
There are even stories that you knew all along that this was going to happen.
She understood the power of the media. She understood the power of social media. She absolutely understood the power of celebrity. And she came in and blew it up.
You went through the whole process, and it was all intentional to build your brand.
She blew it up. She didn't care about royal tradition. She said all of the right things at the start.
Can you imagine how little sense that makes? I left my career, my life. I left everything because I love him, right?
I left my career as a second-rate actress in a third-tier part on Suits to be a princess, and somebody would suggest that I did that for career purposes?
And also keep in mind, I've been working on my show for 7 years.
She'd been making plans for the previous 2 years because she knew her career was coming to an end.
So we were very, very fortunate to be able to have that sort of longevity on a series. And for me, once we hit the 100-episode marker, I thought, you know what, I have ticked this box.
She was on Suits for an average of 1.5 minutes per episode.
And I feel really proud of the work I've done there. And now it's time to, as you said, work as a team with you. Yeah.
Okay, so she called up our talent department.
department. She called our lovely bookers, Carrie and Siobhan, and she said, I'm Meghan Markle from Suits, and we were there. Right. I was like, what? Tell it. She said, I'm really into fashion. I would love to come to your show and be a fashion expert and do the runway and all that stuff. By the time we decided to book her,
She was already engaged.
Yup.
That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I wrote letters to his family when I got there.
Oh.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Oh, why
do tell. They're saying, I am dedicated to this. I'm here for you. Use me as you'd like.
I left my job on Suits, and you're suggesting that maybe becoming a princess was a career move? A little, I'm suggesting, because, that is not a horizontal move right there.
People were very concerned with her propensity to marching, to commercialization.
So all you'd have to do is Instagram yourselves using my ketchup. I see. Well, that's something we'll definitely think about.
Her disregard for the protocols and the dangers of violating the protocols of the monarchy. She never got rid of her people. Her manager, agent, lawyer, she never got rid of them. If you're going to cut ties, don't you get rid of them? Their plan, her plan, was always half in, half out.
Does she want to carry on working? Say again. Does she want to keep on acting? Oh, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't think so. I expect she'll want to be with me, doing the job, you know, which would rule out Suits, since they film in Toronto.
The Queen was very encouraging to Meghan at the beginning and said to her, which did surprise me, in terms, you're an actress. If you want to go on working as an actress, you must. That is your profession. That is your skill. Do that. But Meghan said, no, I want to work for the Commonwealth. So the Queen was very excited. I want to be part of this and make it work.
Well, darling boy, you know there's not enough money to go around. I stared. What was he banging on about? He explained, or tried to. I can't pay for anyone else. I'm already having to pay for your brother and Catherine. I flinched.
When she was on a clothing allowance that exceeded the collective of every single European and British monarch, princess, and royal duchess. I mean, that's some accomplishment.
How did that make you feel? Where did that come from?
Meghan demanded luxury. She could not live like an empress on the budget of a duchess.
It did seem a little bit strange that somehow the rules were being changed, or that I was being guided on a very different path, or at least my partner was being guided on a very different path, should we end up getting married.
She could have kept the money that she earned from the career. It would appear that Harry told her to the contrary.
I think what's been really exciting as we talk about the transition of this out of my career but into the role is that, as you said, the causes that have been very important to me I can focus even more energy on, because very early out of the gate I think you realize once you have access or a voice that people are willing to listen to, with that comes a lot of responsibility.
She told me that with great power comes great responsibility. Remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Wait, what? How do you know that? Uncle Ben said it.
My husband has always said, with great privilege comes great responsibility.
And Kensington Palace is not commented, but you guys, to be a fly on the wall.
We were playing whack-a-mole every day. It was like, wait, another one popped up. Wait, stop, another story popped. They were constant. They were going through the woodwork and pulling out people to create and plant the most salacious stories that they could.
They do background checks on everyone. So there's really nothing that Meghan has in her past that they at some point didn't find out about.
We were going to wage a battle for her reputation and physical safety. I needed to know exactly what was fact, what was false, and that meant asking her every few hours about something else that had appeared online.
Apparently, aged 20, Harry's wife took part in an unspeakable hazing incident.
She'd often begin to cry.
Was she a yacht girl? Part 1.
She's gonna be worried that he's gonna believe what's being said. And how does she combat that? Discredit the press.
And some of that scrutiny, and you ended up making a very public statement about it, some of that scrutiny was centered around your ethnicity, Megan. When you realized that, what did you think?
Of course, it's disheartening. You know, it's a shame that that is the climate in this world, to focus that much on that. Or that
When they said Harry's girl is straight out of Compton, I was like, are they talking about Serena?
we have never put any focus on that. We've just focused on who we are as a couple.
The letter released by his communications secretary isn't a proclamation of love, though. Meghan reportedly sent a letter of her own to the British Press Complaint Commission.
Is it so hard to believe that my father's black?
Robert Zane is black?
You think this is a year-round tan?
Have you ever listened to the I Have a Dream speech? Like, really, like, listened to it, read it? It's more than just the chorus. What comes after I Have a Dream is, I have a dream that my children will be judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
You know, at the end of the day, I'm really just proud of who I am and where I come from.
But then Meghan was not as cool.
Oh, really?
It wasn't as naturally warm.
Yes, the family has been great, and over the past year and a half, we've just had a really nice time getting to know them and progressively helping me feel a part of not just the institution, but also part of the family.
Before the two were even engaged, she told one of Harry's staff, I think we both know I'm going to be one of your bosses soon.
So you better do what I say, was essentially kind of her attitude. They'd only been dating really a couple months.
This is when stories started coming out that she wasn't treating people particularly nice. We had stories come out that she had worked with photographers, videographers that refused to work with her ever again. Diva-like behaviour, tantrums, rude, were actually really, really bitchy to other people that were on the set.
And so Meghan landed a deal with the clothing brand Reitman's. Not quite the Ralph Lauren ads that she was hoping for, but it came with a nice paycheck, it came with royalties, it came with good exposure. So they also covered all of her luxury expenses, and she made sure she always got top tier. She had to be staying at the Ritz. They had to make sure she had fresh green juice all the time. They had to make sure that she had the fancy water and not that Evian crap. Though she was doing well for herself, Hollywood seemed to really not want anything to do with her.
Casting, to this day, those casting directors will never hire me. They never, I can't even remember what their names were.
You told them you're
I told them I was union, and then they had to Taft-Hartley me, which really is just like them sending one piece of paperwork to the union, but it makes you...
You're the Mike Ross of...
I was such a fraud.
And then she ended up landing a crime thriller called Antisocial. And even there, she was not the easiest to work with. She requested luxury accommodations, but her co-stars described her as unhelpful and very high maintenance.
She was apparently so awful to people and stole a pair of shoes, if you've read Tom Bauer's book, that they have sworn that they will never work with her again. Directors that have had her appear in cameos for films, videographers, fashion photographers. There are not very many nice stories about how Meghan treats people.
She was always having to be coaxed out of her dressing room during promotional shoots because she didn't think she looked pretty enough, or her outfit wasn't right, or she felt she wasn't getting prominent enough placement. People told me, get ready because she is a lot. They used to call her Princess. When I saw her right away from the moment she arrived, I didn't even know who she was, and she was acting like a diva. It was the attitude.
Mariah Carey, actually in a great moment, Spencer, kind of turned the tables on Meghan and called her a diva.
And yes, the diva thing we can play into, I mean, it's not something that I connect to, but for you, it's been a huge part of your...
Give us diva moments sometimes, Meghan.
What kind
Don't
of diva
even
moments
act
do
like...
I give you?
was all going swimmingly. I mean, really well, until that moment happened, which I don't know about you, but it stopped me in my tracks when she called me a diva. You couldn't see me, obviously, but I started to sweat a little bit. I started squirming in my chair in this quiet revolt. Like, wait, what? No, what? Huh? But that, how could you? That's not true. That's not, why would you say that? My mind genuinely was just spinning with what nonsense she must have read or clicked on to make her say that. And so when you take all those extra layers away and all of that noise, so she must have felt my nervous laughter, and you all would have heard it too. And she jumped right in to make sure I was crystal clear. When she said diva, she was talking about the way that I dress, the posture, the clothing, the quote-unquote fabulousness as she sees it.
Oh my God.
I think it makes it really easy to just enjoy being together and tune all the rest of that out.
You've been at home a lot.
Yes. No, we've well, yeah. I had an engagement, but I'd be home soon. 2 hours later, when I got home, I found her inconsolable, sobbing, shaking. She could barely get the story out.
And she went to get some food to make a lunch for Harry. Anyway, she claims that she was harassed in this Whole Foods in Kensington.
Sorry. Hey, you're Meghan Markle.
Yeah, hi.
Well, even if I can't take a picture with you, that doesn't stop me taking pictures of you. Other people, looking or trying to take photos on their phones and all that kind of stuff. With that comes with the job, comes with the role. She got into the queue. Before her were rows and rows of magazines and newspapers.
I don't think they have whole rows of tabloids near the checkouts.
And on all of them, under the most shocking and disgusting headlines, was her.
The coverage for that week was mainly about Donald Trump. And for the very few articles that did mention Meghan, the articles were only talking about Harry's statements that he put out that week.
The other customers noticed as well. They looked at the magazines, looked at her, and now they too pulled out their phones, like zombies.
And then she walked out and there was 4 men randomly with smartphones taking photos of her.
She kept her head down, rushed up Kensington High Street. The palace gate was blocked. She was forced back along the main road, where the 4 men picked up the scent again and chased her all the way to the main gate, screaming her name.
And obviously not clearly understanding that it was Meghan herself tipping off the press to make sure that she was pictured.
Going to be a big weekend for Prince Harry and his girlfriend. We know that Meghan Markle is in London right now. The Daily Mail, in fact, snapped these photos of the actress entering the palace with groceries. Royal reports suggesting Markle has been there since Tuesday. That is the same day the palace made the unprecedented statement pleading for privacy for the couple.
When she finally got inside Knockcott, she'd phoned her best girlfriends, each of whom asked, "Is he worth this, Meg?"
This was the occasion when Harry came home and she was draped near the front door. Sobbing uncontrollably.
I put my arms around her, said I was sorry, so sorry. We just held each other until I slowly became aware of the most delicious smells. Hang on, you mean after all that, you still made lunch?
But Harry seems to think that because he's writing it, and because he's recounting things that clearly his wife has told him happened, that they're definitely the truth.
Yeah, sure, I would also shop at Whole Foods the week after my relationship is outed while wearing his hat and walking around with a fat anti-poverty bag at the same time that William was hosting a huge benefit for a homeless charity. She was desperately trying to let the whole world know that she was staying in Kensington Palace. She ignored the advice from staff telling her to use the side entrance, not the front entrance, to avoid getting photographed, and yet here she is at the front entrance.
When Harry met Riri, the pair have been rubbing shoulders over the last few days during the prince's stop in Rihanna's native Barbados. Their latest outing, taking a public HIV test as part of a campaign to raise awareness and encourage others to get tested.
Important day, vital cause, but my head wasn't in the game. I was worried about Meg. She couldn't go home because her house was surrounded by paps. So I'd reached out to friends who had a house sitting empty in Los Angeles, and they'd generously offered it to her. Better yet, her mother and father had been able to sneak in and spend Thanksgiving with her.
Suddenly, it was like everything about my life was just getting so much more insular. Like all the curtains were pulled, all the blinds were pulled.
I don't doubt that she had more attention than she's normally used to, but I think she is the type of person that is making it a lot bigger than it really is.
Like, it was scary. My face was everywhere. My life was everywhere. Tabloids had taken over everything.
Then she phoned me, and her tearful voice brought me right back to my childhood. She didn't make it, darling boy. My air controller training took over, and I guided her to her house, where she collapsed. And this, I realized, was my Achilles heel. When things quietened down, she dared to peek through the blinds and saw men sleeping in cars outside, engines running.
And privacy. That big Douglas fir, I don't know, would have given Harry and Meghan a lot of privacy.
Neighbors told Meg they'd been harassed too. Men had gone up and down the street, asking questions.
Do you ever see her around or anything like that?
Sometimes I see security here, and my dog walker saw them walking the dog all the time. Yeah.
So I would say to the police, if any other woman in Toronto right now said to you, I have 6 grown men who are sleeping in their cars around my house and following me everywhere that I go and I feel scared, wouldn't you say that it was stalking? And they said, yes, but there's really nothing we can do because of who you're dating.
Then we have the Toronto Police Chief, James Raymer, who has responded to Meghan's claims. Well, he said, there are always people who are never going to be happy. He also suggested, after Meghan accused her neighbors of having cameras installed in their properties that were looking into hers, and he suggests that those claims were inaccurate.
Meghan also complained that Michelle was not warm enough, not empathetic enough to be the choice of host for that interview. And she said on Netflix we weren't allowed to tell our story.
Doesn't it make more sense to hear our story from us?
All about their story, isn't it? The clue is in that word. Story, storyteller.